This is Real Retirees Uncut. No filters, no scripts, just conversations about what retirement is really like. Let's meet today's real retiree. Give me your name, your age, and where you're from.
My name is Paula Frank. I'm from the state of Washington, in fact, city Tacoma, Washington, and I'm 74 years old.
Now, Miss Paula, when did you retire and from what career field?
I retired August 31st, 2013, from the world of human resources, 21 years working at Fort Bragg.
Okay. Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Correct.
Now, what drove your decision to retire? Was there something specifically that happened that made you decide to retire when you did?
No, no, nothing except for the fact that I was 62 in April, and I was ready to get my Social Security check.
Okay. Ready to get to Social Security.
Mm.
So that was a driving factor. Um, I guess that's good of enough reason. Tell me one thing, or if there are several things that you're glad that you no longer have to deal with when it comes to the workplace.
Those short suspenses, those reports, the monthly reports, and they wanted specifics. And just the idea, I love um, the employees, but the ideal of having to do those weekly reports, monthly reports, I was ready to do something different.
I'm sure that's a lot to do in the HR world, right?
Correct.
Yeah. As you were approaching retirement, what was your strategy as far as saving to make sure that you had enough to support yourself in retirement? How did you save and what did you save and invest in?
Actually, it started. Actually, it started when I turned 60. I knew that I wanted to retire at 62.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my little trusty black book and the things that I knew that I needed to do, like pay off bills, everything. If whatever rewards that I receive instead of awards, instead of spending that money, I put that away.
Okay.
I increased my TSP,
Mm-hmm.
and basically started, um, you know, paying off bills, getting rid of credit cards that served of no use.
Right. Now, did you invest in anything other than the TSP, or that was the main?
That for me at that time was the main thing. I mean, we had savings, but
Mhm.
the TSP was the main
Right.
source.
And during this time, did you use a financial advisor or a tax planner to help you get your plan together?
Yes,
You did.
yes.
Okay. And you found that helpful.
Hmm.
Now that you're in retirement, what are your primary sources of income that you use to sustain yourself from month to month, year to year?
You mean as far as like,
Income.
okay, Social Security,
Hmm.
retirement. What else do I have? Do I include my husband's too?
No,
All his.
no.
Okay.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is,
Yeah.
So
Now, have you started with taking withdrawals from your TSP at this point?
yes.
You have.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, that leads me to the next question. A lot of people, after they have worked and saved for 20, 30, 40 years, they have a problem going from a saving mentality to a spending mentality. Have you experienced any of that and have any problems spending your money now after you've saved for so long?
Um, no, because I don't spend like I used to. But I do spend, like, for like example, I was, clothing. Okay, I had to spend in order to, my dress, the way that I dress.
Hmm.
But now it's a different story now, so I
Right.
don't have to spend like that.
But when it's time to spend, you don't have a problem holding on to your money and have a problem with spending whenever it's time to spend?
No, either I want to do it or I don't want to do it.
Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. I know a lot of people, they just have a problem with, letting go of the money after they've saved it for so long. I think that's the purpose of saving and investing, is to be able to spend your money in retirement. But I've heard people say they have a problem flipping that switch and going through that transition. So let's move on.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Okay, the thing is about that for me, as far as I'm concerned, is that I'm not trying everything that my husband and I that we saved or worked for, whatever.
Hmm.
I'm not trying to leave it to the kids. They
Okay.
need to get theirs. I mean, not everything,
Right. Understand that. So yeah, let's move on to given your age and the TSP and however you were invested. I'm assuming that you probably had something in some of the money in a traditional account. Have you um, started planning or have any concerns with the required minimum distributions that you will have to take in your mid 70s, which is probably about now? At some point, the government is going to require you to start taking a certain amount of money out of your traditional accounts or your tax deferred accounts. Have you thought about that or had any experience with that yet?
Well, in fact, like the last 6 months, I decided to make some change. Like I guess you would call it. That is um, where a portion of what was. Uh, I guess the best way to describe it, because I'm still learning about it.
Hmm.
I do have a certain amount that I have. I guess the best way that I would describe it is, let me see if I can make some money.
Okay. But at this point, you haven't planned to take a certain amount, or you don't know, you're not aware of a certain amount that you have to take each year.
No, not
Yeah,
yet.
it may be worth investigating that, because if you have a tax deferred account, there is an amount that the IRS requires you to take each year. So it may be worth checking into that.
Hmm.
But let's move on. Social Security. At what age did you take Social Security? You said 62, right?
I took it at
Yeah.
62.
So why did you take it at 62 as opposed to waiting until you were 67 or 70?
Okay, at that time, 2013, it was 66. And
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, there's nothing to say that I'm going to be here the next day. So
Right.
went ahead and did it,
Yeah.
took it out at 62.
Okay. Yeah. What about healthcare? What are you doing now for healthcare, um, life insurance, and have you considered anything with long-term care insurance?
We are locked and ready. We
Okay.
have um, medical,
Hmm.
complete medical. I kept my government insurance. um, life in I have the life insurance, but in addition, I have the medical insurance. I
Hmm.
did not get rid of it
Right.
because I looked at it the way, like, even though my husband is 100% disabled, I wanted the option that if I don't want him to go to the VA hospital, I don't want him to go
Hmm.
to the medical military,
Hmm.
then I can have him go somewhere else,
Right.
So that, and then um, is life insurance,
You still maintain life
still
insurance.
maintain
What
that.
about long-term care insurance? Have you?
Long-term care insurance, I didn't worry so much about that, so I did not take out. There is a smaller policy that you can do for long-term. They call it, I can't even remember what they call it, but hey, they take the money from me. And so, um, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. I'm assuming that you have a mortgage, and what are your thoughts on paying off a mortgage either before you retire or paying it off shortly after you retire? Just what's your whole thoughts on the conversations around paying off your mortgage?
Well, we only have 5 more years. 4
Hmm.
actually. That's it.
Okay.
So the biggest thing people kept on saying to us, are you going to buy a retirement home? You're looking at it.
Hmm.
So um, me, I would just like, yes, to have a new home, that would be great.
Hmm.
But I have to think about how old we are, and since we have the land that we can do modifications to that house and come out cheaper than what is going on now.
Okay, so you're just going to continue paying for the next 5 years until you get it paid
Yeah,
off.
because uh, to buy something else now for what
Hmm.
I'm in now, I'm not going to get that
Right.
because I don't want anything less than what I have.
Well, what's your thoughts on taking money out of your investments or your savings and going ahead and paying the mortgage off now as opposed to making monthly payments for the next 5 years? What's your thoughts on that?
Haven't thought about that because we have a really nice mortgage. So hey,
Okay.
okay,
All right. Have you done any estate planning? Have you established a trust, a will, power of attorney, anything like
yes,
that? You
all
have
that,
all
yes.
that's in place.
Hmm.
All right. So let's shift gears again. What is a typical day like for you now since you've retired? Just kind of walk us through from the time you wake up in the morning until the time you go to bed at night on a typical day, if there is such a thing.
We wake up about 4:45 in the morning so we can get ready to, look at the news, have early morning devotion if that's what we're going to do. Um, and then, like, if we try to do our morning, try to do any doctor's appointments that we have, we do it early in the morning because we want to make sure that everything is
Hmm.
is done, say by 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Right.
So that and we do community service. So we do that twice a week.
Okay.
So we're pretty active, but we do have like one day a week, whereas we don't do anything.
Okay. And you haven't had a problem, or so far, you haven't had a problem with finding things to do to fill your day.
Oh no,
Okay. What do you enjoy most about retirement?
I don't have to go there. I don't have to go there. I can pick and choose. And if I don't get everything done that day, it's all right.
Hmm. Okay. Have you had any major lifestyle changes since you retired? I don't think you have moved or downsized, but have you started to travel more or anything major since you've retired?
No. Mm-mm,
Okay.
no.
Any new hobbies, interests, or skills that you've developed since you retired?
Well, we travel more. Well, we really do travel more now,
Hmm.
because of the organizations that we belong to,
Okay.
you know.
So with traveling, what has been the best trip that you've taken or the best activity that you've done since you retired?
We did a cruise. We did a cruise, and but basically driving to different parts of the United States.
Okay.
Mhm.
How do you maintain your physical and your mental health now that you're retired?
I find something to smile and laugh about every day, so that's probably keeping me in the right frame of mind.
Hmm.
Um, that's
Okay. What about
yeah.
physically?
Physically, I should be walking a lot more than what I do. I think about it, but I don't.
Right. Okay. What has been your biggest challenge, your biggest surprise, or your biggest expense in retirement? Either one of those three or all three.
The biggest expense, and okay, the biggest. Do I want to call it an expense? Yeah, it is because there is now 2013. Okay, that's 12 years ago,
Hmm.
and it was cheaper. Like say for instance, going to the commissary, hey, look at here.
Hmm.
If I spent $300, hey, look here, got everything, a cart and a half,
Right, right.
But see, it's not like that anymore.
Okay.
I'm not going, another example, and I don't care what's going on, but I'm not buying no 80% hamburger, 80/20. I'm not doing that. I'm still gonna get my 93.7.
Yeah.
So I got to pay for that.
So
So,
price increases, inflation.
right.
Okay, that covers the expenses. What about any big challenges or big surprises? Something that happened that you didn't think was going to happen, or something that didn't happen that you were expecting to happen?
Oh
And there may be none.
no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Do you wish you would have retired sooner or later, or do you feel that you retired at about the right time?
I
But
think I retired at the right time. Yeah.
okay. Looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently if you had to do it all over again to better prepare yourself for retirement? Anything that you would do differently?
Um, I think perhaps I think perhaps I may have I like I like where we live at, but perhaps I would have bought another house, sold the house and bought another house.
Hmm.
But I wanted that neighborhood and I wanted that cul-de-sac, so that's right where I am. So hey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How would you define retirement success? If you had to put it in a few words or a sentence, what is your definition of a successful retirement?
My definition for me, uh, and I think that we're successful at it, is we have not we have not had to go back to work. We don't have to go back to work. There's enough money flowing through the house, whereas I've seen a lot of other people have to do that for one reason or another. But we've been blessed, whereas I'm still sitting at home.
And finally, if you had to give advice to someone that's maybe 5 to 10 years from retirement, what would that advice be? Maybe something that we haven't already covered, just some
Mhm.
general advice.
Um, and I've said it to some couples that have asked that, and I'll say to anybody, make sure it's what you want, not what your wife or your husband want. Make sure it's what you want. Know what you want to do afterwards. Okay. Um, he made his decision. I made my decision.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
All right. Well, I thank you very much for all your great advice and your time, and I wish you many more successful years in retirement.
Thank you.